him off as like, Munya, teach me how to not give a shit. Teach me how to not give a shit. And I'm like, it's that sort of, to me it sort of sounded like, how do I not care? And so there was a, so like, this is sort of to like explain my mindset and how I approach things. So naturally, disclaimer, as you can see, the word fuck will be used quite a bit, but not in an offensive manner, I think, for the most part. Yeah, so if it does offend you, I don't really give a fuck. That right there is an example of how I don't plan on using the word fuck in this whole speak up. Because like in that sense it's more used negatively, and I'm not a negative person, I'm all about good vibes. Thank you. Anyway, so one hot day in Tena, I was approached by Hannah and Camilla, and hot days are basically every day in Tena, and so I was like sort of just like, you know, sitting there on my Snapchat, sort of just like, you know, minding my own business, and then Hannah asked me, Munya, how do I not give a fuck? And I was like I was in the middle of Snapchat going through DJ Khaled's Instagram, and I was like, wow, like, is this how I come off to people? Like, does it come off like I don't care? So I decided to like I was like, okay, let me take a step back and like examine this. So we came across this article. It's not an article, it's more like a paper or whatever, and we came across this, and I mean, it's awesome just looking at it. It's like a cat with an explosion in the background. I was already captivated. And you know, the awesomeness of this article just didn't end with the background, because, you know, at the time I wasn't actually reading it because Snapchat was really popular, but you know, as Camilla was reading out different parts of it, I sort of listened to it, and a lot of the things that were being, oh, by the way, what was popping on Snapchat was DJ Khaled's Lion. Anyway, but one of the things that really stood out to me, like there were many like rules in this and mantras, and one of the ones that stood out to me was this quote, which is, because when we give too many fucks, we choose to give a fuck about everything. Then we feel as though we are perpetually entitled to feel comfortable and happy at all times. That's when life fucks us. And it took me back to PDT and ICO, when a lot of the times I said I was okay with discomfort. I wasn't looking to be comfortable in every situation, because I knew that's not life. And even though I didn't read the article until much later, I started to think aloud and, you know, build on the quotes that from the article that resonated with me. And, you know, to sort of like formulate a response for Hannah and for anyone else who asked me, like, you know, to sort of formulate a response that resonated with them and didn't make me seem like I'm a black hole void of emotions. Because I swear, guys, I do feel emotions. It's not that I don't care. And I began to find that the differences I found were how I perceived many of the situations I was put in. I realized that in reality, I was not entirely happy in my host community. I'm going to be very honest. There were many days when I just like was like, you know, really hating it. But I was sort of okay with it. Like, I mean, there were days when I was like, why am I here? But in the end, I was always okay with it. And there would be times when I'd be talking to friends from home, or just people from home, for example, and sorry, give me a second. Yeah, and I tell them about my different experiences, about how, like, you know, I had, oh yeah, this is, sorry, anyway, next slide. How I had like cockroaches trapping in my room in the middle of the night, waking me up, or like how I, you know, had intense diarrhea and only had 3 leaves and had to figure out how to like clean up the wake of this diarrhea with these 3 leaves. And you know, to the people I was telling it to, they were like, how are you able to deal with this? And you know, to me, I just sort of laughed it off in the situation. I was like, you know, life isn't meant to be like easy. It's not meant to be fun. And so, yeah, I just laughed it off. And I soon came to realize that the difference wasn't because I was emotionless, but it was because I, like I said, was okay with my discomfort. I didn't worry about not being remembered by my host family or my community, not because I didn't care about them, but rather because I realized that, you know, sometimes life doesn't go the way we planned. I realized that I didn't give a fuck about being happy or about failing because I was still learning from my experience and growing. Many experiences just, you know, in life, through, you know, I've had a life all over the place. I've gone from white suburban America to Zimbabwe in 2008 when shit hit the fan. And, you know, a lot of these experiences, especially in Zimbabwe, that was tough. I will tell you guys, that was tough. But a lot of these experiences just proved to me that if you're too busy trying to fix your life and make sure that every detail you envision comes to fruition, you miss so many of the lessons that you would have learned from the discomfort and the tough times that you are in. So my not giving a fuck wasn't because I didn't care, but it was a result of being drop-kicked, RKO'd by life and learning from those beatings I didn't give a fuck that I wasn't making if I wasn't making an impact in my community, because I was too busy trying to figure out what it was about my past few months that it inhibited me from making the impact I thought I could have. And that it inhibited me from making the ideal connections that I had hoped to have. I didn't give a fuck about my gap year not going as I planned, because I had been placed in a situation which I hadn't expected but could still learn from. A situation I could still grow from. And it was a situation where I wasn't worried because I was too busy learning about myself, learning from how I reacted to these new challenges and surprises and discomfort. And basically, to sum it up, I didn't care about the shit hitting the fan because I was too busy trying to figure out how to redirect the shit from the fan into the ground where I can compost it and use it to grow and make new experiences and grow a tree which I would then grow from and bear the fruits of my struggles. And, you know, basically help me find ways to tackle this thing called life. As the subtle art of not giving a fuck, the article, and I did eventually read it, explains we only have a certain amount of fucks to give throughout life. I think you can switch. Yeah. We only have a certain amount of fucks to give throughout life. And we don't, in reality, at this point in our lives, we don't have many left because, you know, a lot of them were spent when we were young complaining about the amount of vegetables we had to eat, or, you know, complaining about getting one question wrong on a test which didn't get you 100 but got you 99 or whatever. And therefore, let's, you know, be cautious with the remaining fucks we do have to give, because we really don't have many to give left. And, you know, instead of getting frustrated with people showing you love in ways which you may not understand or are not used to, let's take time to breathe and learn from the discomfort and learn how to love instead of wanting to be loved a certain way. And, you know, say fuck the things that matter, like, I don't know, climate change or whatever it is that you care about. Don't really know. And yeah, basically that's it. I don't know. Really happy. So yeah, basically, I don't know if, I hope this resonated with at least some of you. If it didn't resonate with you, again, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, not because I don't care, because as long as it resonated with at least one of you, then I know I've made a difference.
Oh my God.
I was just like, whoa. Because I've been asked this question before, and I'm just like, what does that even mean? I do give a fuck. I mean, like,